No need to avert your eyes from the sun on here. NASA has released new high-definition images taken by its space-based telescope. Naming the project Thermonuclear Art, the footage was captured by the American Space Agency's Solar Dynamic Observatory. It snaps a photo of the sun every 12 seconds in 10 wavelengths of invisible ultraviolet light. Each wavelength helps highlight a different temperature of solar material, and each is assigned a color. At various times, you can see solar flares, vast explosions of material bursting out of the sun's surface, and coronal loops, solar material streaming up and down the lines of the sun's magnetic field. It took a team of specialists about 10 hours to produce 1 minute of footage. NASA also recently released footage of Jupiter in 4K HD, showing changes in the planet's giant red spot.
Set the controls for the heart of the sun. In the summer of 2018, the Parker Solar Probe will lift off from Earth. It will spend the next 7 years spiraling inward to the center of the solar system. The Parker Probe will be the first spacecraft to touch our star, or any star. It will brush through the halo of hot gases that form the sun's outer atmosphere, the corona. The surface of the sun looks placid to our eyes, but it is pierced and roiled by strong magnetic fields. The fields trap gas blowing off the sun and lift it into glowing arcs and streamers. Scientists don't understand how the corona works, or why it's hundreds of times hotter than the surface of the sun. The Parker Probe will pass closer to the sun than any mission before it. To get that close, the spacecraft will make 7 flybys of Venus over 7 years, gradually tightening its elliptical orbit and shifting it closer and closer to the sun. A high-tech heat shield will protect the probe from the punishing radiation and heat of the corona. But within the shield's shadow, the spacecraft instruments will operate at a comfortable room temperature. As the probe passes close to the sun, it will briefly become the fastest machine ever built by humans, zipping along at a brisk 430,000 miles per hour. The Parker Probe is the first NASA spacecraft to be named after a living person. Eugene Parker is an astrophysicist at the University of Chicago. In 1958, he suggested that the sun radiates a constant and intense stream of charged particles. He called it the solar wind. This wind pushes out comet tails and makes the long streamers seen in solar eclipses. With the Parker Solar Probe, scientists hope to learn more about the sun's turbulent corona, how it accelerates particles, and how it flings huge clouds of fiery gas outward across space. Huge waves of magnetized gas are called coronal mass ejections. If Earth gets in the way of one of these storms, it could be bad news. Our planet is protected by its own magnetic field, but a direct hit from one of these galloping clouds of particles and radiation could disrupt satellites and force astronauts in the space station to take shelter. In 1859, a powerful storm called the Carrington event produced auroras as far south as Cuba. A solar storm of that size today could cripple satellites and power grids around the world. If successful, the Parker Probe's mission to touch the sun may explain how solar storms form. Scientists hope it might teach us how to predict coronal outbursts more accurately and learn how to endure them. We've always depended on the kindness of a star, here on a planet riding the gentle fringe of barely calculable forces. Living with a star is not easy, but we're learning.